Hi, my name is Chef Yuan Tang, and I'm a Michelin star chef from Washington, D.C. I own and operate 2 restaurants, Rooster and now an Ellie Bird. Today I'm receiving a local produce box from Giant, and I'm super excited to get it open and check out what's inside so I can show you guys how to make a seasonal, delicious meal. Wow, look at this. We got some beautiful arugula, some fresh dill, some scallions, my favorite, parsley, great. We got some Japanese eggplants, some zucchini and yellow squash. These are beautiful. We also got a couple of Roma tomatoes here, and looks like fresh snow chilies. Cool. So I'm feeling super inspired by this set of ingredients in the box. I think what I'm gonna make today is a version of a eggplant parmesan with these Japanese eggplants. We're gonna make a lighter and brighter version of it with some tomato jam, maybe a fresh salad on top, some pickled chilies, and a char lemon vinaigrette. I think that sounds really good for a summer day. So we'll start off with roasting some of these tomatoes, get them cut and peeled. So first we're just gonna take the Roma tomato, cut the stem end off, and then just cut this in half vertically. We're gonna do that to all the tomatoes here. So we're putting this on a wire rack just so that the air can circulate while it's in the oven. That's going to help cook the tomatoes as well as help concentrate the flavor and dehydrate the liquid that's inside the tomato. We're going to just put a little bit of olive oil on top, a little salt and pepper to get it started. Making sure to coat every part of that skin, and that's going to help the skin release a little bit later. We're going to pop it into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and we'll check to see where they are. We're gonna go ahead and get everything cut that we need to cut, all of our night work out of the way, so that way we can have everything organized and ready to go for the final plating. So first we're gonna prep our eggplants, our Japanese eggplants. We're just gonna remove the stem end again. I think I'm gonna just cut these in half this way, and then once again this way. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut up our zucchini and our squash. When these squashes are in season, they're really, really beautiful cooked, but they're also really great raw. So I really love serving these raw and just slicing them very thin. Now we're gonna cut up some of our chilies for our pickles later. And now we're gonna just really roughly pick these dill. Some of the bigger stems are we'll pick away, but some of the smaller stems are actually okay to eat. They actually have quite a bit of flavor in them, so I'm gonna just really roughly pick these. So part of our mission in the 2 restaurants that I have is utilizing local produce to create our menu. I think when we use produce that's local and seasonal and peaking in season, they taste so much better than produce when they're not. So we tend to try to source locally, sustainably when we can, and obviously when they're peaking their season, and that's gonna give you the best results. And then we have our parsley that we'll cut up. You're gonna make as few cuts as possible to avoid bruising the herbs, the green herbs. They're very easy to bruise. Sometimes when you see your whole cutting board just bright green, that means you're bruising the herbs a little bit too much and it's releasing a little bit too much of the liquid. And then it'll kind of lose its vibrancy and make it a little like wet. I have some lemons at home, so I'm gonna make a char lemon vinaigrette. I'm gonna cut these in half, and then we're gonna get them on a grill pan and just get it really nice and roasted, caramelized, and give it another kind of flavor. Nice sizzle when you put it on the pan. We're gonna just let it go until they are nice and caramelized. And while that's going, we're gonna go ahead and make our quick pickle with the fresh snow chilies. 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, just plain white granulated sugar. I have about 3 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, and then just about 3 tablespoons of plain water. I might add just a pinch of salt to balance out the flavor. I'm gonna let that come to a boil. So while the lemons are going, I'm just gonna get these scallions ready. Season this with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. So we're gonna come back here to the stove. Our lemons are almost ready. Nice and caramelized on one side, and that's what we're looking for. I'm gonna just take these off and let it cool slightly. And now we're gonna add our scallion to the same pan and essentially do the same thing. And we're gonna add in our fresh snow chilies. We're gonna let it sit in the solution for about 20 to 30 minutes, and this is what we call a quick pickle in the restaurant business. So it's been about 30 minutes that the tomatoes have been in the oven. We're gonna go ahead and take a peek and see what they look like. All right, so this is exactly where we want them to be. The skin has started to blister a little bit and separate from the flesh. At our restaurants, we love to source local and seasonal products. We'll kind of go out of our way to find different ingredients that fit that criteria, and it's just a really awesome thing that Giant is able to send this directly to your house. This is just an amazing box of produce that you can use to create so many different dishes. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually season it again with some olive oil, salt, and pepper. Put it back in the same oven, and then we're gonna let it dehydrate a little bit. And this will take about another 20 to 30 minutes. So now we're gonna make our vinaigrette. We're gonna use some of our grilled scallions that we made earlier and some of the charred lemons, and we're gonna turn that into a vinaigrette. Gonna add a touch of Dijon mustard. Slowly emulsify it. And I'm looking for a 1-to-3 ratio, 1 lemon juice to about 3 parts of olive oil, salt and pepper. All right, we'll set this aside and wait for our final plating. So we're gonna set up 3 pans here, what we call standard breading in the restaurant industry. It's typically flour, eggs, and some kind of breading. In this case, we're gonna use the Japanese panko. We're gonna take our eggplants that we cut earlier. We're gonna just season it with some salt, pepper, and a little bit of Madras curry. It's one of my favorite spices that you can get at the grocery stores. Into the eggs. And then into the panko and Parmesan. So while we were breading the eggplants, I had a cast iron pan on the heat with just a little bit of neutral oil. In this case, we're using canola oil. We're just gonna get to a point where it's just lightly smoking or just about to smoke, and that's how you know it's the right temperature. So we're gonna put our eggplants, the cut side down first. That's gonna be our presentation side. And these will fry for about a minute to a minute and a half each side, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. And by then, because these eggplants are so thin, they will be cooked through all the way. So it's been about another 30 minutes since we last put the tomatoes back in the oven. So we're gonna take a peek to see where they're at. This is exactly where we want it to be, just about reduced by 50%. And now we're gonna really simply put it together into the food processor with just a little bit of brown sugar and a touch more of the rice wine vinegar to give it a little more acidity. Light brown sugar. It's probably about a tablespoon of each. All right, and down to the final component of our dish, we're gonna just make a really quick salad. We're gonna start off with our zucchini and yellow squash. Give it a little season, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper is very important in basically any part of the preparation. We got a little bit of the arugula from our local produce box from Giant. We're gonna put in just a little bit of our chopped parsley and dill. We have our pickled chilies. I'm just gonna put a few in there. They are a little bit spicy when I tasted it earlier, so just a little bit for a little bit of heat. Finally, our char lemon vinaigrette with our grilled scallions. And now we are ready to plate up our final dish. So we're gonna start off with some of our roasted tomato jam. Of course, our Japanese eggplant that we fried with panko, a little bit of Madras curry. And then last but not least, we're gonna top it off with just a healthy amount of our green salad, which will add a ton of brightness, acidity, and a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of heat from the Fresno chilies. So here we have our final dish, our Japanese eggplant with tomato jam, fresh salad of summer squash, zucchini, arugula, and some pickled Fresno chilies. I love that Giant is delivering these local seasonal produce boxes right to your house. Makes our creativity and experimenting even easier. Love to know what you would do with these boxes. Please let us know in the comments.